Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today's reciters are Kapil Prabhuji in Sanskrit and Drishti Mataji in English from Canto 3, Chapter 21, verses 29 to 43. Kapil Prabhuji, when you're ready, please start with the invocation 3 times. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances. Please tell me, Mataji, shall I start straight away with the recitation or is there
Yes.
any prayer required?
Yes, the invocation Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times. And then we start.
Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Mataji, I interrupted while you were about to say something more.
Okay, Prabhuji, is it your first time you're reciting?
In this group, yes.
Yes, so you do the Sanskrit and Drishti Mataji will then do the translation. And so for every text you'll do Sanskrit translation, that's the way. Okay, okay, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yat Atmavratam Viryam Navda Prasavishyati Virye Tvadiye Rishya Adasyantai Anjasatmanaha.
Hare Krishna. She will bring forth 9 daughters from the seed sown in her by you, and through the daughters you beget, the sages will duly beget children.
Tvam cha samyaganushthaya nidesham ushattamaha maye tirthi krita shesha kriyartho mam prapatasyase.
With your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command, resigning to me the fruits of all your acts, you will finally attain to me.
Kritva dayam cha jiveshu datva chamyam atmavan Mayyatmanam sahajagada drakshayasya atmani chapi mam.
Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization. Giving assurance of safety to all, you will perceive your own self, as well as all the universes in me, and myself in you.
Sahaham swansha kalaya tvadviyaryena mahamuni tau kshetre deva hutyam praneshe tattva saham hitam.
O great sage, I shall manifest my own plenary portion through your wife, Devahuti, along with your 9 daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principles or categories.
Maitreya uvacha evam tamano bhashyatha bhagavan pratyagakshajaha jagam bindu sarasaha saraswatya parishritata.
Maitreya went on, thus having spoken to Kardama Muni, the Lord who reveals himself only when the senses are in Krishna consciousness, departed from the lake called Bindu Sarovar, which was encircled by the river Saraswati.
निरीक्ष्य तस्य तस्य ययावशेष सिद्धेश्वराभिष्टुतसिद्धमार्गः आकर्णयन् पत्ररथेन्द्रपक्षै रुचिरार्तं स्तों मुदीर्नसाम्.
While the sage stood looking on, the Lord left by the pathway leading to Vaikuntha, a path extolled by all great liberated souls. The sage stood listening as the hymns forming the basis of the Samved were vibrated by the flapping wings of the Lord's carrier, Garuda.
अथ सम्प्रस्थिते शुक्ले कर्दमो भगवान् ऋषिः आस्ते स्म बिन्दुसरसि तं कालं प्रतिपालयन्.
Then after the departure of the Lord, the worshipful sage Kardama stayed on the bank of Bindu Sarovar, awaiting the time of which the Lord had spoken.
मनुः सयान्दनम् अस्ताय शातकौम्भपरिच्छदम् आरोप्य स्वां दुहितरं सभार्यः पर्यटनं हीम्.
Swayambhuva Manu, with his wife, mounted his chariot, which was decorated with golden ornaments. Placing his daughter on it with them, he began traveling all over the earth.
तस्मिन् सुदन्वन्हन्नि भगवान् यत्सम् आदिश्यत उपायादाश्रमपदं मुनेः शान्तव्रतस्य तत.
O Vidur, they reached the hermitage of the sage, who had just completed his vows of austerity on the very day foretold by the Lord.
यस्मिन् भगवतो नेत्राण्यपतन् शुबिन्दवः कृपया सम्परीतस्य प्रपन्नेऽर्पितया वृषम् तद्वै बिन्दुसरो नाम सरस्वत्या परिपल्लुतम् पुण्यं शिवामृतजलं महर्षिगणसेवितम्.
The holy lake Bindu Sarovar, flooded by the waters of the river Saraswati, was resorted to by hosts of eminent sages. Its holy water was not only auspicious but as sweet as nectar. It was called Bindu Sarovar because drops of tears had fallen there from the eyes of the Lord, who was overwhelmed by extreme compassion for the sage who had sought his protection.
पुण्यद्रुमा लताजलैः कुजात पुण्यं रगद्विजेः सर्वर्तुफलपुष्पादयाम वनाराजीश्रयन्न्युवित्तम्.
The shore of the lake was surrounded by clusters of pious trees and creepers, rich in fruits and flowers of all seasons, that afforded shelter to pious animals and birds, which uttered various cries. It was adorned by the beauty of groves of forest trees.
मत्तद्विजगणेर्गुष्टम् मत्तब्रह्मरविभ्रमम् मत्तर्बर्हिन्ताटोपम आवायामट्टकोकिलम्.
The area resounded with the notes of overjoyed birds. Intoxicated bees wandered there, intoxicated peacocks proudly danced, and merry cuckoos called one another.
कदम्ब चम्पका शको शोक करञ्जबुकुलासनेह कुदम मंदार कुताजयसे कुरे बक कुंदा मंदार कुर्ताजेश च्युते पुतेर अलंकृतम कारण्डवेः प्लेवेर्हंसेः कुररजलकुकुतेः सारस्यैश्च क्रवाकैश्च चकोरेर्वल्गुकूजितम्.
Lake Bindu Sarovar was adorned by flowering trees such as Kadamba, Champaka, Ashoka, Karanja, Bakula, Asana, Kunda, Mandara, Kutaja, and young mango trees. The air was filled with the pleasing notes of Karandava ducks, plovers, swans, ospreys, waterfowl, cranes, chakravatas, and chakoras.
तथैव हरिणेः क्रोडेः श्वाविद्रवगावया कुञ्जरेः गोपुच्छेर्हरिभेर्मर्केर् नकुलेर्नभिभिर्वृतम्.
Its shores abounded with deer, boars, porcupines, gawayas, elephants, baboons, lions, monkeys, mongooses, and musk deer.
प्रविश्य तत्तीर्थवरमादिराजः सहात्मजः ददर्श मुनिमासीनं तस्मिन् हुताशनम् विद्योत्तमानं वपुषा तपस्यो ग्रयौ गुजाचिरम् नातिक्षामं भगवता स्निग्धापाङ्गावलोकनात् तद्रव्यहतामृत कलापीयूषरवन्नेन च प्रामशंशुं पद्मपलाशाक्षं जटिलं चीरवाससम् उपसंश्रित्य मलिनं यथार्हणं संस्कृतम्.
Entering the most sacred spot with his daughter and going near the sage, the first monarch, Swayambhuva, Manu, saw the sage sitting in his hermitage. Having just propitiated the sacred fire by pouring oblations into it, his body shone most brilliantly. Though he had engaged in austere penance for a long time, he wasn't emaciated, for the Lord had cast his affectionate sidelong glance upon him, and he had also heard the nectar flowing from the moonlight words of the Lord. The sage was tall, his eyes were large, like the petals of a lotus, and he had matted locks on his head. He was clad in rags. Swayambhuva Manu approached and saw him to be somewhat soiled, like an unpolished gem.
अथोट जमोपाया.
Sorry, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. That
Hare
is,
Krishna.
we finish here. And now the facilitator has joined the group, so he will take over. Thank you for reciting, very beautifully recited. Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you, Drishti Mataji. Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Kapil Prabhu and Drishti Mataji, for your wonderful recitation. Welcome, dear devotees, on this final day of the month of Kartik. We gather to hear, recite, and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is our great good fortune to do this. So today we'll continue with our reading and discussion of the third canto, chapter 21, chapter entitled Conversation Between Manu and Kardam. And we shall be reading and discussing text number 42 to 47. Let me just double check quickly. Recite the Mangala Charanam prayers first to invoke auspiciousness. Please feel free to join in behind muted mics. And today we are also live streaming. This is the first time we're live streaming today. Oh, I'm not sure if we are. Anyway, there's a plan to live stream. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Vidati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutan Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gourange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasacha Deshatarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we are now in the section in this chapter, text number 38 to 44 is a description of Bindu Sarovar. So Bindu Sarovar, as we've been reading, is a very special place. It is very special due to many reasons, but most importantly, that this lake was formed from the tears of the Lord. And in what bhava and in what mood was those tears coming? Those tears were coming with the Lord's compassion for Kardam Muni, for his devotee. So this lake is being described because it is what Manu and his daughter and his wife, Swayambhuva Manu, saw. And the scene is Kardam Muni was informed by the Lord that he is going to be wedded to the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. So he had this foresight. So we're now reading about, from the perspective of Manu and Devahuti and Manu's wife, what they saw when they approached the ashram of Kardam Muni. So let's go to text number 40. Oh, what am I reading now? Text 42 is combined with 43 also. Kadamba Champaka Shoka Karanja Bakula Shanai Kunda Mandara Kutajais Juta Potair Alankritam Karandavai Palaiv Amshai Kurarai Jala Kukutai Sarasais Chakrava Kaisja Chakorai Valgukujitam. A word-for-word translation: Kadamba flowers, champak flowers, ashoka flowers, karanja flowers, bakula flowers, ashanai by ashana trees, kunda, mandara, kutaijai and by kutaja trees, chutapotai by young mango trees, alankritam, adorned, Karandavai by Karandavadax, Plavai by plavas, Hamshai by swans, Kururai by ospreys, Jala Kukutai by waterfowl, Sarasai by cranes, Chakravakai by chakravaka birds, Cha and Chakorai by chakora birds, Valgu pleasing, Kujitam vibration of birds and swans. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lake Bindu Sarovar was adorned by flowering trees such as Kadamba, Champak, Ashoka, Karanja, Bakula, Ashina, Kunda, Mandara, Kutaja, and young mango trees. The air was filled with the pleasing notes of Karandava ducks, plovers, swans, ospreys, waterfowl, cranes, chakravakas, and chakoras. Purport: for most of the trees, flowers, fruits, and birds mentioned here as surrounding Bindu Sarovar Lake, English synonyms cannot be found. All the trees mentioned are very pious in that they produce a nice aromatic flower, such as the champak, kadamba, and bakula. The sweet sounds of waterfowl and cranes made the surrounding area as pleasant as possible and created a very suitable spiritual atmosphere. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining here that there was a very spiritual atmosphere around Bindu Sarovar. And what makes a spiritual atmosphere? What makes a spiritual atmosphere? What makes a spiritual atmosphere, firstly, is when everything is in the mode of goodness. Just like everything in the material world can be categorized, like everything in the spiritual world is categorized by Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. So everything in the material world is classified according to the three modes: Sattva-gun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. Even animals and birds and plants and trees. Like among the birds, the Hamsa, the swan, is considered to be a bird in the mode of goodness. And the crow is considered to be a bird in the mode of passion. And trees also, those trees that are very thorny, that are very pokey, that can hurt one, they are mode of ignorance. And the very sublime trees, as mentioned in this verse, is in the mode of goodness. So the area where Kardam Muni was residing was very spiritual. And another very compelling reason why it was very spiritual is because the Lord had just been there. We know that any place that has any association with the Lord or the Lord's great devotees, they are known as tirthas, very spiritual places. And when one goes to these tirthas, these holy places, one becomes purified. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that a lot of these trees described here, they have no English synonym. And you can see normally like chutapotai, by young mango. Chuta is mango. That you can translate with an English synonym. But the others, it's just like kutaja, asana, bakula. Actually, these are plants in the spiritual world, trees in the spiritual world. And if you study Srimad Bhagavatam, these trees are also described in another place in Srimad Bhagavatam. Does anyone know where? In the 10th canto. In the 10th canto, there's description there of Krishna meeting the gopis, and then Krishna disappearing, and then the gopis being feeling great separation. They were looking for Krishna, and they were inquiring from different entities, where is Krishna? So at one stage, it is said they approached the plants and the trees in Vrindavan, and they said, "Oh Chuta," that means "Oh mango tree," "Oh Priyala," "Oh Panasa," "Asana," "Kovidara," "Oh Jambu," "Oh Akara," "Oh Bilvu," "Oh Bakula," "Oh Amra," "Oh Kadamba," and Nipa, and all you other plants and trees living by the banks of the Yamuna, who have dedicated your very existence to the welfare of others. We gopis have lost our minds. Please tell us, where has Krishna gone? And we also know from the Bhagavatam that once Krishna was experiencing some rasa with these trees. And Krishna, he glorified these trees so much, how magnanimous they were. And in the purport, it is explained. Let me see which chapter is this. Chapter 30, so it wouldn't be Prabhupada's disciples. It's written, according to Jiva Goswami, the Chuta is a mango creeper. whereas the Amra is a mango tree. So you get the creeper and you get the tree. He goes on to explain that the Nipa, though not a very prominent tree, bears large flowers, and that the gopis' desperation to find Krishna is clearly shown by the fact that they approached the insignificant arka plant. So it's interesting. So when we are reading the names of these different plants, we are actually reciting the names of Krishna's eternal associates. These plants here that's being mentioned, they are very special, or the trees, very special, transcendental. In our temple, many of you may know that I was born and raised in Durban, South Africa. And my early days in Krishna consciousness was in the temple, Shishiraradhana temple. And there around the temple, even if you go today, there's many, many champak trees around the temple. How many of y'all have seen a champak flower? It's a very beautiful, it's a small flower, it's yellow, but it's very, very fragrant. It is said that the plants, the flowers in the mode of goodness, they have fragrance. And the flowers that are mode of ignorance, you don't get fragrance. Therefore, we don't ever offer Krishna flowers with no fragrance. And sometimes we may see some flowers, they appear very beautiful, but because they have no fragrance, we don't offer such flowers to Krishna. We only offer the flowers which has fragrance. Birds, we know of ducks. Cranes we know of. Chakravakas, I'm not sure. The chakora bird, we hear a lot about. Manasa Chandra Chakora, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings in his song, Vibhaviri Eshesha. Manasa Chandra Chakora. So these are all very special living entities. We move on to text number 44. Tataiva harinai krodhai swavid gavaya kunjarai gopuchair haribir mar kai nakulai nabibhir vritam. Tataiva, likewise, harinai by deer, krodai by boars, swavit porcupines, gavaya, a wild animal closely resembling the cow. Kunjarai by elephants, Gopachai by baboons, Haribi by lions, Markai by monkeys, Nakulai by mongooses, Nabibhi by mastia, Vritam surrounded. Its shores abundant with deers, boars, porcupines, gavayas, elephants, baboons, lions, monkeys, mongooses, and musk deer. Purport. It's interesting, isn't it? Normally, if we were to hear that a lion is living in a certain place, we would be terrified to live anywhere near such a place. But this place where Kardam Muni was living, there were elephants there, baboons. I'm not sure if you have, but in South Africa, in Cape Town, we have many baboons there. They're very, very naughty. And you see the monkeys, they seem to have a special place everywhere. Purport. Musk deer are not found in every forest, but only in places like Bindu Sarovar. They are always intoxicated by the aroma of musk secreted from their navels. Gavayas, the species of crow mentioned herein, bear a bunch of hair at the end of their tails. This bunch of hair is used in temple worship to fan the deities. Gavayas are sometimes called chamaris, and they are considered very sacred. In India, there are still gypsies or forest mercantile people who flourish by trading kasturi or musk, and the bunches of hair from the chamaris. These are always in great demand for the higher class of Hindu population, and such business still goes on in large cities and villages in India. Recently, I had the good fortune of meeting one such people. They were resident of the forests, mercantile person. And this person, he had a deer musk sack. It's a sack, it's about so round. And it is rare. He was telling us how rare and how difficult it is to get this little sack with musk from the deer. And he was explaining that one of those pouches are over 1,000 pounds, well over 1,000 pounds. And yeah, these people, they live in the forest, and they're like sorts of gypsies, and they make some medicines using the musk, and apparently it's very, very powerful. And then we hear about the gavayas, the chamaras we use to fan the Lord. They are coming from this living entities. Text 45 to 47, and we'll conclude on these verses. Pravasya tirtavaram adiraja sahat majaha dadharsha munim hasinam tasmin utashanam vidyotamamnam vapusa tapasi ugra yujachiram natiksha mam bhagavata snigdha panga valokanat tadvya hiratamritam kala piyusha shravanena cha pramshum padma palashakam jatilam chiravashanam upasham shyamalinam yatharanam asamkritam. I won't read the word for word. I'll read the translation and the purport because of time. Entering that most sacred spot with his daughter and going near the sage, the first monarch, Swayambhuva Manu, saw the sage sitting in his hermitage. Having just appropriated the sacred fire by pouring oblations into it, his body shone brilliantly. Though he had engaged in austere penance for a long time, he was not emaciated, for the Lord had cast his affectionate sidelong glance upon him, and he had also heard the nectar flowing from the moon-like words of the Lord. The sage was tall, his eyes were large, like the petals of a lotus, and he had matted locks on his head. He was clad in rags. Swayambhuva Manu approached and saw him to be somewhat soiled, like an unpolished gem. Purport. Here are some descriptions of a brahmachari yogi. In the morning, the first duty of a brahmachari seeking spiritual elevation is Uttasana, asana, to offer sacrificial oblations to the Supreme Lord. Those engaged in brahmachari cannot sleep until 7 or 9 o'clock in the morning. They must rise early in the morning, at least 1.5 hours before the sun rises, and offer oblations. Or in this age, they must chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna. as referred to by Lord Chaitanya, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. There is no alternative, no other alternative, no other alternative in this age to chanting the holy name of the Lord. The brahmachari must rise early in the morning, and after placing himself, should chant the holy name of the Lord. From the very features of the sage, it appeared that he had undergone great austerities, and that is a sign of one observing brahmacharya, the vow of celibacy. If one lives otherwise, it will be manifest in the lust visible in his face and body. The word Vijyotamanam indicates that the brahmachari feature showed in his body. That is the certificate that one has undergone austerity and yoga. A drunkard or smoker or sexmonger can never be eligible to practice yoga. Generally, yogis look very skinny because of their not being comfortably situated. But Kardam Muni was not emaciated, for he had seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Here the word Snigdha Panga Valokanat means that he was fortunate enough to see the Lord face to face. He looked healthy because he had directly received the nectarian sound vibrations from the lotus lips of the personality of Godhead. Similarly, one who hears the transcendental sound vibration of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, also improves in health. We have actually seen that many brahmacharis and grihastas connected with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness have improved in health, and a luster has come to their faces. It is essential that a brahmachari engaged in spiritual advancement look very healthy and lustrous. The comparison of the sage to an unpolished gem is very appropriate. Even if a gem just taken from a mine looks unpolished, the luster of the gem cannot be stopped. Similarly, although Kardam was not properly dressed and his body was not properly cleansed, his overall appearance was gem-like. So here we read a beautiful description of what Swayambhuva Manu and Devahuti and her mother had seen. So sitting among this beautiful description of Lake Bindu Sarovar was the great sage. And Srila Prabhupada talks that the standout feature of the sage was what? His luster. And Prabhupada says this is evidence, this is a sign that he had observed proper brahmacharya life. Those who are spiritually conscious, who are spiritually advanced, who are practicing spiritual life nicely, it's very evident. You can't fake it. Prabhupada says in the purport, those who are materialists, who are lusty, they look very, they do not display luster. And Prabhupada says, because of their lust. So this is, Prabhupada says, a clear sign of a brahmachari. If you look at a brahmachari always look effulgent. And we know in our temples, our brahmacharis, they're always very effulgent. So Kardam Muni, he looked very effulgent. And Srila Prabhupada writes, so the verse says, one was because of his practicing, brahmachari, but also most importantly, he had come into direct contact with the Lord. And Prabhupada alludes to it in the purport that one who comes in contact with the Lord is never skinny. Like if you go to Goloka Vrindavan and the spiritual world, there is no lack of anything in the spiritual world. I was reading some descriptions of Krishna's associates, and Krishna's father, Nanda Maharaj, he's described in Radha Krishna Ganadesh Deepika that he has a pot belly. And Krishna's close friend Madhu Mangal, who's always eating laddus, who loves laddus, he's also got a pot belly. And Prabhupada says once some devotee was painting the residents of Vrindavan, and they painted them not so nice. And Prabhupada said, no, this is not right. Everyone in Vrindavan, they look a little fatty. Their cheeks are a little fatty and plump. Their bodies are a little plump. And Prabhupada said, no, you must draw them, even Krishna, a little fatty cheeks. So anyone who's associated with Krishna, and we were reading also, I'm not sure if you'll heard Sri Chaitanya Charitam class by Rupa Vilas Prabhu on Sunday, where he was quoting, and Prabhupada says, in Vrindavan, there's no sannyasis. In Goloka Vrindavan, there's no sannyasis there. So Kardam Muni, he's described here like he was like an unpolished gem. Why unpolished gem? Because of his austerity, he had matted locks on his head. He had rags, and he's described as somewhat soiled. Soiled means you may have some dust or sometimes some mud on your body. But he was like an unpolished gem. A gem that comes from a mine, although it may still have the remnants of being in contact with the ground, no one can miss a gem. No one can hide the luster, even if it's unpolished, because a gem is a gem. So Kardam Muni, Prabhupada explains, he's using the metaphor or the synonym of him being like an unpolished gem is very apt. Very apt, because although externally his appearance was like this, he was full of luster. And anyone who comes in contact with the Lord will be like, Krishna is pavitram, completely pure. Krishna is completely happy. Krishna is completely blissful. And anyone who comes in contact with Krishna will also feel the same. And Prabhupada alludes to in the purport that anyone who's chanting Hare Krishna sincerely, attentively, without offenses, they are in contact with Krishna. And by dint of that contact, such persons will automatically always be joyful, will always be will have luster in their bodies. So beautiful description here. On Sunday we were reading that when we speak about Krishna, we do not only mean the two-handed Shyamasundar form of Lord. Krishna means Krishna's devotees, Krishna's abode, Krishna's name, Krishna's paraphernalia. So here we are seeing Krishna's devotee Kardam being glorified. And to read about this, about him, to appreciate how he's being glorified, to appreciate his appearance, this is purifying. And it is well worth us spending time savoring each word, imagining the description of his body, his appearance. It's all very purifying. The description of Krishna's pure devotees is as Prabhupada teaches us, is as purifying as hearing descriptions of Krishna. So we should see it in that light. Thank you very much. I shall stop here and I'll take any questions, comments, reflections that anyone has.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for that wonderful class. I just needed some clarification. When you mentioned about offering of flowers to Krishna, you said we should offer fragrant flowers. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. I suppose it doesn't clarify in the sense that I suppose we should infer that rather than, because I really needed that clarification. Because in the summer, for example, you see beautiful flowers in the garden, you think, that's very beautiful. Krishna should go for this to Krishna. Should you not be offering them? Because we don't get many fragrant flowers here. So if you're naturally going to go out in the garden, get them. So I just needed that clarification.
See, the nature of a devotee, they always want to offer the choicest, the best of
Which
everything.
looks beautiful, yes.
Of everything to Krishna.
Yeah.
And among flowers, the flowers with fragrance are considered to be the best.
Okay.
So that's the nature. Of course, we can offer the flower to Krishna in the mood that this is colorful, this is beautiful. But it won't be a complete offering because it's lacking fragrance.
Okay.
Yeah. But Krishna is, as you say, if one offers him with love and devotion, he'll accept it. He'll accept it. But the mood of the devotee from his side also is also to offer Krishna the best and the choicest. Although he knows that Krishna is more focused on the bhava, the mood, but part of the devotee's bhava is to offer the Krishna the best, fragrant. Yeah.
Because I see lots of flowers in the gardens with a really beautiful first bloom, and I think, wow, Krishna, what beautiful creation. And then I think, where can I put these and offer them to you? So I just needed that clarification. But thank you for that, Prabhu. That
You can
kind of
decorate the altar with those flowers. Also, I mean, you're not directly offering it to Krishna, these lotus feet, but you can decorate because of its color and because of its beauty. You can decorate Krishna's altar with those flowers. And also, we give the flower the benefit that plant. The devotee always thinks, how can that plant get benefit? If we offer something, Prabhupada says, the plant gets the benefit. So maybe you can, on the altar, offer the color.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for the clarification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Prabhupada says the face is the index of the mind. You can see what's going on in people's mind through their face. Unfortunately, so many people, if you look at their faces today, it's morose, it's sad, because what's going on they're disconnected from Krishna. So Prabhupada says we should make them fortunate, make them happy by telling them about Krishna, introducing them to Krishna, giving them Krishna Prashadam, allowing them to hear Krishna's holy name. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Anyone else got any comments or reflections or corrections?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I've got a question
Yes,
regarding prasadam.
Uh-huh.
I know some of my friends are not Krishna conscious, but I do offer dry fruits and I always have it on me all the time. And can I offer these to non-devotees?
Absolutely, 100%.
Thank you.
We should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, dear devotees, we'll stop here. Congratulations on all of you all undertaking successfully your Kartik Vrata. I'm sure you've all had a very successful Kartik month. If you still haven't done your Damara prayers, relish it. I know it always feels a bit sad. Tomorrow will be a very empty day, after singing, but we can carry on. We can still offer kirtan, articles to the Lord. Thank you very much. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to your service. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Vishja kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, Manisha.
Thank you, Prabhuji. See you soon now with association. We are missing you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.